M to the E to the T to the A, that spells meta, ain't talking about Zucky. Looking at the bigger picture, yeah, I'm feeling lucky. L to the I to the F to the E, that spells laugh. Come on, listen to me, it's MetaLife. Come on, facilitate, sing. Happy you're here, not debating.
The less I care about money, the more happy I am. It's as simple as that. Obviously, I'm not gonna go to the casino and then put it all in. I try to be very cautious of talking about this sort of stuff with people because some people will be like, "What the heck are you talking about?" We all can be that factor of change in the world. It's not only about like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this." No, you have to believe it. It's gonna happen. It's a fact that it's gonna happen.
Hello, and welcome back to MetaLife. My name is Tate Donahue, and today we're talking to an amazing man. I had on my notes of what to say about him, endless love, and that was referring to his endless love for the world, but I've also got endless love for this man. His name is Felipe Sarria Perez, and he's an amazing author. What a coincidence that I asked about authors last week. And he's on a writing journey at the moment. He's doing a lot of other things, he's done a lot of other things, but something that really interested me about him was exactly what I was talking about last week. It was taking that abstract concept of an idea and turning it into something tangible that people can adore. He talks to us a bit about that, but then he also talks about his spirituality, his journey with that, and the lifestyle that he lives, and how he incorporates all the things from his book, all the messages and analogies and metaphors, and actually uses that to better himself in real life. We chat a bit about alchemy, not turning tin into gold. He made that a point. We talk about forgiveness, everything about storytelling, and he honestly is a massive inspiration to me. Enjoy the episode. There's going to be some interactive parts in it, and it's amazing. So, thank you for tuning in. Enjoy, and I'll see you later in the episode.
At work, American guy. He was living here in Melbourne for a year, and then he went to live in Colombia. He was just traveling and just working around. And he said, "Oh, Australia, you have to go. It's great." And I was like, "Yeah, but I don't know." He's like, "What do you have to? I mean, do you have kids? You know, just go. If you have always wanted to go, just go." And I was like, Recently, one of my good friends, she had been living here back then for like 3 years, and she was telling me how great it was, blah blah blah. And I said, you know what, I'm just gonna go, just, at least for 6 months. That was the initial plan. And here I am, 5 years later.
How did you stay here? Because I've looked at moving to a different country, and it is so hard in my eyes. How do you actually end up living in a different country?
It's not for everyone. That because, well, I mean, I think it depends a lot on how close you're to your family. Because, like in my case, 50,000 kilometers away from home. But I reckon it's. I think I think when you move to somewhere else, it's because you are searching for your place in the world.
Yeah.
And like in my case, I lived in Madrid, uh, which I loved, but it didn't really actually capture me. Otherwise, I should have done something to stay. Then I lived in Texas, and I didn't like it. So in Colombia, I lived in the three main cities, sort of trying to, okay, is it here? No, it's not here. Is it here? Nah. Is it here? Nah. And then I came here, and I'm happy here. I don't plan to. I mean, I like in all these other locations, I never sort of visualized myself like actually like buying a house or but in here I could definitely picture myself growing old, definitely.
I've been thinking about that the whole time, leading up to this. Why? Like, it's so interesting.
I don't know. It's. I think I belong here. I was like the other day, the other night, I was trying to I was waiting for the ferry on the other side, and I was just looking at the river, and I was with my friend, Australian friend, and I said, mate, I just think Brisbane is so beautiful. And I feel very lucky to be here. And a lady she was like, yes, we are very lucky to live in Brisbane. It's a beautiful city. And I say, and I feel very grateful to be welcome because obviously I'm a foreigner and I have never experienced ever any like discrimination or anything.
Really?
No, never. And actually, it's all the opposite. I feel very welcome with opportunities to work. My students love me. Opportunities to become what I want to do in my life, and that sort of could happen here. Or yeah, so yeah, that's probably the reason why I feel so comfortable here.
So
Probably,
cool.
yeah. The weather, the city, yeah.
Have you lived anywhere else in Australia except Brisbane?
No.
Right.
I arrived in Brisbane and I have stayed here. Yeah.
Yep.
I've been in Sydney. It's too I don't know. It's different. Feels different. Feels like a big city. I don't know.
Yeah, it does.
And Melbourne is great, but too cold.
Have you been to the sunny coast?
Yes, of course.
Oh,
We got engaged in Coolum. Coolum?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is my favorite place on the coast.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Look, actually, we got engaged a year ago, and Valeria was she posted a photograph of that moment, and yeah, it was in this lookout, in the Coolum lookout. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So have you guys had your wedding yet, or you still?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've already had it.
Yeah. So the wedding thing was great because I never imagined getting married. I was like, yeah, I might get a long-term girlfriend, something like that. And so I met Valeria and we went on a date. No, it wasn't a date. She said, oh, I'm gonna get some beers with some friends. If you want to come over, and say, okay, let's go. So I went there. Her friends left. It was only the two of us at the end of the night, and we were just talking, getting to know each other. And I don't know why we ended up talking about marriage. I don't know, very random. And she's like, oh, and she says, like, if I ever get married, I would do like my dream would be to get married in Bali with just my partner. That's it. And I was like, I like that. Because I was never a fan of the church and the big white dress and like 200 people and the flowers and everything. No, I wasn't a fan of that.
You'd look good in the dress.
I maybe. And so when we decided to get married, that's what we did. But if she wanted to get engaged and everything, I said, okay, let's do that. And we went to Bali last year, and we got married there. We did the fire ritual blessing ceremony. So it was like a Hindu sort of, and it was so because I have become very spiritual in these last couple of years. So that sort of made sense to me, because the whole ritual, it's like an hour and a half, and you basically, in a nutshell, is just you burn in the fire all the things that you want to leave behind, and with your partner and you as an individual, and then you start over from the ashes and you become this sort of phoenix.
So cool.
It's very cool. It's very cool, and it was great. It has a lot of meditation in between. It was great because at some point you're not touching with your I'm gonna show you some pictures later, but we're sitting to each other, next to each other, and we don't talk. And there's this it's called a priest, right? And he's doing the whole ritual in Hindu, and there is this guy that is translating what's happening. And there's part of the ceremony that you just meditate. And then at the end, we were just talking, and I was like, "Do you remember that part where like the first time that we had to meditate?" And she said, "Yeah, of course I remember." I said, what were you thinking about? Like, what was, and she was like, oh, I was thinking about all the little pets that we're gonna have, all the little kittens and doggies, and I was like, I was thinking the same thing. So it was, we were just connected. And the funny thing, well, the interesting thing is that we got married the 1st of May, and the day before, April 30th, our kitten was born. We didn't know. We didn't even know that we were getting Zelda back then.
Wow.
And when we got her and in their little thingy, it was date of birth April 30th, one day before. And it was like, wait, we were manifesting her.
Did you say her name was Zelda?
Zelda, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the little Zelda.
Oh.
Oh wait,
Oh,
yes.
yeah, we saw the
We
photo,
were.
yeah.
Oh, her eyes are insane.
Yeah, she's beautiful. Yeah, I mean, I've never thought I was going to love an animal so much.
Really.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's crazy how. Yeah, I look at her and I'm like, how come I can love that spirit so much?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful animal. Yeah.
Do you want to have kids now?
Nah.
Cat is
Nah.
enough.
Yeah, we might get another cat for her. Yeah, she needs a little brother. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no. I think I took the decision long time ago. Unknowingly, I think it was, well, we all have this, we all carry in our DNA all the things from our past ancestors, like, right? And in my side, my father's side, there's a lot of things, because some of my ancestors, they were in wars, they were in the army, obviously, and there's a lot of killing, there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of injustice, there's a lot of, you name it. And I was carrying it. And my dad carried, and my family, from my father's side. And unknowingly, I think I felt that, and I was like, I don't know, I think I didn't want to sort of carry that, pass that on, and I was like, nah. So, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a selfless reason. Like, it wasn't because you just wanted to be free or anything, or is that part of it?
It's part of it as
Yeah.
well. It's part of it, yeah. So we sort of have the vision of like traveling around, and yeah, so being able to, like, we saw people with babies, and I'm like, oh no, it was too much. It's just like you sort of, and I understand, obviously, you basically stop doing things only for yourself, and once you have a kid, it's just, yeah, you kind of share your life. And yeah, I don't want to do that. At least not in this lifetime. Yeah.
So how did you work through all that generational trauma that you were talking about that you and your dad were carrying? How did you work through it?
A lot of meditation, and I don't know. I sort of prepared for what happened in Bali last year. So meditation has helped me a lot to cope with what happened in my past lives, if we could tell it. No, not my ancestors' life. And then, so last year we went to Bali to get married. We went to the Tirtha temple, I think the water temple. And it's a great experience because you have these 9 stations, and you have to go through each one, and then you put your head, and the water just flows through you. You're meant to just release all these burdens from the past, from your life, from past lives, and that culture is very wise in that aspect. And obviously, we just barely touch the surface of the meaning of everything. But look, I think it worked, and there's physical evidence for it. My dad was very sick. Every month there was something new. Every month, and obviously it wasn't because he is like having bad habits. No, he is a very healthy person or a healthy habits, but he was just sick. And sometimes sickness is because you carry trauma, you carry things from the past. So once I went to this, I did this full ritual. I decided to forgive and let go a lot of uh, this this baggage. He has been healthy for the last 8, 9 months, very healthy.
Wow.
And I told him, and he is like, "Nah, I don't believe that." But yeah, so I think there's it's forgiveness. At the end of the day, one word: forgiveness. You have to forgive yourself and your past. It's not something that you can control. It's not your fault.
You know what's really
We all
interesting?
carry with that. Yeah.
Christina and I spoke about pretty much this exact same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Just after we left the park, she was talking about, I think it was cancer, and that cancer has to do with you having a sense of shame related to that
Yeah.
part of the body. So yeah, like for STDs, or not STDs, like prostate cancer and all that, it was like you were ashamed of the person you had sex with, and then yeah, that's so cool. Like
Yeah.
you too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like my uncle, he was the healthiest guy ever. He will eat the healthiest food. He will go for long walks every day. Didn't smoke. Didn't drink. Nothing. And he had huge. He fought with his entire family, even his mom. Didn't talk to his family at all for years. And he got cancer. It's yeah. It's sort of it's I don't know. It builds up in your body. It has to manifest some way. That anger, that hatred, that I don't know. Yeah.
How else have you dove into spirituality? Because I've just gotten into that as well. So
The first thing that it all began with reading. I started to read a lot of books. And it's interesting because it was part of the whole initial research that I did for my book. So I started to read about alchemy, and I delved into a lot of concepts from alchemy, and then I read the Kybalion, and that book, it's very like sort of has 7 principles that obviously, once again, it's sort of like barely grabs the surface of, but I sort of embraced those 7 principles and started to dig deeper into them, and yeah, still learning. I mean, it's just yeah, I don't. The more I know, the more that I realize that I don't know. Yeah, that's.
I've no idea what alchemy is. Like I thought it was just making potions.
Yeah.
Like,
So the thing is, well, obviously, the concept of alchemy is that, or the most famous one is turning tin into gold, right? And people sort of take, or a lot of people take that very literal, like, oh, tin into gold, no, that's impossible. But it's not literal. It's basically transforming or transmuting whatever you put your intention to, your life, a habit. Um, like take example, like a year ago, I wasn't even planning to become a writer, and I have sort of transmute my life to focus on writing a book or becoming a writer. And so yeah, it's those basic alchemy sort of principles. It's transmuting emotions as well. There's this very interesting diagram where you have like all the emotions, like all the sort of positive emotions, like from like love and joy and happiness and blissfulness, blah, blah, blah. And then the other spectrum will be hatred and anger and sadness and fear, and how can all of those feelings or emotions are the opposites of the others, and you can basically, or you could transmute them, right? But it takes a lot of it's an inner process, because like you cannot say, oh, I I hate that person, and then the next second, oh, I love that person. It's just, I mean, you could do that, but it takes it's a process. Like I have come to like forgive all the people that have wronged me in the past. Yeah, even obviously my ancestors and everything. I at some point I was like, oh, that person that did this to this. We were talking about that ex-girlfriend before, and I have these very, I don't know, hatred, anger against, at the end of the day, it's not even against her. It was against me, because it's. Every person that, for example, I been meaning to do a podcast for a long time, and here I am, right? So you sort of manifest what you want, and every person that you meet, every encounter, it's something that you manifested in some way or another or the other. So yeah.
It really is. Yeah. Manifesting. I think it's like, I don't know, people take so many shots at it. Like, first of all, it's just thoughts, so how can it be actions? But then also, like, people who accept manifesting, but then they don't put any actions towards it. But I think it has to be a combination.
Oh,
because
yeah.
You have to, yeah. But I think a lot of people misinterpret manifesting things.
Yeah, because if I come here to this park and I said, oh, I want to write a book, yeah, but if I'm not actually taking the steps of writing a book, well, I'm doing only half the job. Yeah, which is obviously the mindset, but then you have to actually take some action. Yeah.
And then, yeah, so you took that action and we found each other.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So, yeah, but Valeria was like, who is going to, what are you going to do? And I'm like, it's a podcast. What's the podcast about? And I'm like, it's about life and experiences. And she's like, and what are you going to talk about? And I was like, I don't know. I'm just going to go and see what's up.
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, yeah, worst can happen. I'm just going to meet two cool people. Yeah, that's it.
Or not so cool people.
Or not so cool. Yeah. So yeah, it's been a process. It's been an interesting process. It's obviously it has, or the last couple of years, it's been the mix of spirituality and growth and learning, and yeah, and trying to, because like when you start to create something, and you obviously know it, you can go in a lot of different directions, which I did. I was doing four things at the same, like sort of four projects at the same time. I was doing a book, I was doing like a card game, I was doing a video game, and I was doing like a comic book at the same time. It was exhausting. And so I learned to just narrow it down to just one single thing.
That's exactly what I was talking about. It's a business, yeah.
So how did you decide like which one, like how to focus on?
It's so I was so through like probably 8 months, no, like 6 months of, no, like 8 months of last year, I did that, four things at the same time. I hired a person to help me with it. Like, you need to like a sort of project manager. I was like, I'm overwhelmed with so much things. I was talking to this guy that was doing a video game, I was talking to this guy that was doing some concept art, I was doing so a lot of things at the same time. And I ended up talking to this marketing agency, and the guy's like, okay, so he's like, I love your project, you have put a lot of work into it, there's a lot of potential, you have this and this and this. He thought I was having this massive crew or team behind all these different elements, and he says, we need to find some events so we can launch this thing. And I said, okay, all right. So I found the Oz Comic Con. Never been to a Comic Con before, so that was one of the events. And then I found PAX in Melbourne, so I said I'm gonna go to Melbourne as well. And I found a storytelling retreat in Japan. And I always wanted to go to Japan, and I said I'm gonna go to Japan. And so it turns out that each one of those three events show me the way. Because Comic-Con, I went to Comic-Con. When I went to Comic-Con, I already had my storybook. I have the first issue of the storybook. which I made. I did most of the artwork with AI.
Mm.
So talking with all these artists, I realized how people like the talent that you need to create art and to tell a story in that visual medium. And I said, I cannot pretend to do the same thing, taking shortcuts. It's not gonna work. And at the end of the day, I don't know if I feel this is the actual way that I want to embark on. So okay, cool. Lesson one learned. I went to Japan, and I learned that like you need to tell. I mean, I already had started writing like the concept of the book, but it was like I was just telling a story far away from it. Like, oh, it's happening there. I wasn't actually involved with the story. It wasn't. So so I learned that I needed to become involved with it. Like I put feelings into it, put my personal insights into it. And I said, that's pretty cool. That's what I really want to do. I want to tell my story, or the story of the book. And then the video game and card game, I went to PAX, and so how hard is to actually do something like that. I met this guy. It's like, oh, I've been working in this card game for the last 5 years of my life, and I was like, 5 years. So I said, no, I'm just gonna narrow it down. What's the thing that I really, 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 really like doing? Writing, because I can spend hours writing. 3 a.m. and so that was how I chose what I wanted to do. I'm not discarding these other projects, but one thing at a time. And that's something that Valeria, actually my wife, she's like, do one thing at a time. Okay, one thing at a time. Because I'm all the time like, you know what, I'm gonna do one thing. Oh yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's how I picked it up. Yeah.
I purposely didn't read the blurb to your book.
Yep.
Bella read a bit to me, but I read your like blog thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, your writing is good.
Thank you.
I love it.
Thank you. I'm trying to improve it, but yeah,
Right.
it's just trying to.
So cool.
Thank you.
Did you go to school for it, or any courses at all?
No. I have always written stuff, but this is the actually first time that I put it into the world. So yeah, and it's obviously challenging because it's not my native language. But I think, I don't know, it's like some people say, like, because I've been talking to some people, some other writers. That's something that I said, okay, I have to talk to other writers as well. So also other creators. And I met this girl that she's Spanish, but she writes in English. And some people ask her, like, how come you end up writing in English? And she's like, I don't know, the voice in my head speaks in English, so I sort of listen to that voice, and it's like, oh, that makes sense because my voice it's also in English. So yeah, I don't know. It's weird because like I didn't go to a bilingual school, and I didn't took English classes. It just came natural, and ever since I was a kid, I sort of talked to myself in English. I don't know, it was weird. It was, I don't know, I really like the language. I thought back then it sounded more sophisticated. I don't know. I know, look, Spanish is a beautiful language, but I don't know, I just enjoy it. I don't know. I still have to improve it, obviously, but.
We're the exact opposite. Well, not exact, but like, no, like we both learned Spanish.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. Like we're not up to the point where we can think in the other language, but that's been like my goal since the start, is to be able to have thought.
There's some research that says that when you speak in other language, your personality actually changes.
Yes. Yeah.
It does, and it does. In Spanish, I swear a lot, a lot, because that's the slang and things that I have obviously grown. But in English, because it's always been so formal, some very formal, like the other teachers, they're like, oh, you're so formal, you never swear. I'm like, because I don't know what's the point. Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah.
Does one feel more authentic to you? Like, even because like if it's different personalities for each language, do you feel more connected with one? Or?
I think it's I think both will have their own charm, right? I have tried writing in Spanish. Obviously comes easily, right? But at least for me, it doesn't feel right. I don't know. It's weird because obviously I'm a Spanish native speaker, but it feels weird. Like when I read, it's like. But when I read it in English, I'm like, oh, that sounds good. I'm happy with that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's
Just
sort
a
of.
feeling.
It's a feeling thing. Yeah, exactly. It's a feeling thing. Yeah, it's like the tone, the voice, the words. I don't know. It's and especially like I'm writing fantasy, and and fantasy, I think it because when you write fantasy, there's a lot of descriptions and it's very whimsical and magical, right? And you have these very very awesome words, right? Like I don't know, like when you describe creatures and they have like 3 pairs of wings with scales that are translucent and iridescent with the, you get the idea. So I read that in English and I said nice, and I translate that to Spanish and it just gives me some like it's like cringy, like yeah, I don't know, yeah.
Is it because of how the words actually sound, or is it just?
Yeah, probably it's because how they words sound, how they sound, or I don't know, or probably could be because I sort of hear those words I read those words and hear them as if I was telling them out loud, and it sort of yeah, sort of yeah, I don't know because I don't speak like that in Spanish. If that makes sense, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
How do you say iridescent?
Iridescente. It's very similar word.
Right, yeah.
There's a lot of similar words between
Yeah.
English and Spanish. Yeah.
'Cause
Iridescente.
we've been talking about iridescent,
Yeah.
just that word for the last couple of weeks.
Iridescent. Yeah.
No, yeah, because I love writing things in Spanish. Like I write all my Spotify playlists.
Yeah.
All their titles are Spanish, and I
Nice.
love doing like my bios in Spanish.
Nice.
And yeah, it is because it's a completely different personality, and I think I can say whatever because that version of me is like a completely different person.
That makes a lot of sense. Yes.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah, that's probably why I write in English, and I write my blogs in English and everything. Yeah, my mom is like, I wish I could read them. Mom, we will translate. But yeah. But I reckon at some point I will have to localize the book in Spanish, but that will be another person. Yeah, not me.
Yeah.
I will feel the cringe.
How good is Google Translate? Because I use it a lot, but I'm never really sure about its legitimacy.
Yeah, I reckon it's good. I reckon. I don't know. Yeah, well, nowadays, if I want, like, for example, if I want to translate something for my mom to read, or I just put it on ChatGPT and send it to her.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, those things are very good nowadays. Yeah.
What do you think of AI? Because I know you wrote about your blog post.
AI. Well, it's something that so it's the next. So we had the internet, 96, 97, mid 90s, and I think this is the next big thing. I think this is the thing that is going to disrupt entirely entire industries, how we perceive the world, how we interact with each other, how we work. We're kind of already seeing it. The only thing that I think it's going to happen, and have you seen Ready Player One? I think we're going to slowly going to go into that direction.
Like the metaverse.
Yeah, so you put on those Apple Vision things, and they're gonna they can generate videos in real time of whatever you want. And the thing is that people will like to live in those worlds. I mean, I don't blame them, obviously, but yeah, it's gonna be a very dystopic world, I reckon.
It's like phones. Like, yeah, it's just living in a whole different world to
Yeah.
the previous generation.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's like people like nowadays we're like, right, now imagine having this,
Yeah, you just
right?
want
So yeah, so I told Valeria like it's gonna be a good thing for creators because the thing is that you create the worlds where people are gonna be immersed in, but not so good for the people that are going to spend their whole lives in those worlds. I mean, without like, well, yeah, like Ready Player One sort of thing. And corporations are going to obviously abuse of that power, obviously. So that's why the OpenAI versus Elon Musk versus whoever is in the other side, and this because it's who gets the control over the rest of the world,
Yeah,
basically.
because like in the real world, marketing and all these big corporations can go to a certain point, but they can't actually control the foundations of it. But then if we're all living in the same like metaverse, they have the back end, so they.
And they can show you whatever they want because you can put in AI. Like 2 weeks ago, they showcased something called Sora.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's endgame. That's you can just in seconds generate a whole world with physics and characters, and yeah, that's gonna be the next thing in video games, I reckon. Yeah. But the thing is that you need to tell a story. Anyways, I was writing the other day that good games they need to have a good story, either in the game or how you come up with the game. Like, have you seen the Tetris movie? It's very good.
No.
The story, it's a very interesting story because the guy that invented Tetris, it's a Russian guy that was living, or well, probably still, I don't know, but he was living in Russia before the fall of communism in '89, and he invented this game, but it was part of Russia. It was so this guy from America. He sees this game and he's like, that's gonna be a huge success with the Game Boy, and he goes into this big adventure to try to bring that game. Really? And there was all these political conflicts and all these people around it. So it's a great story. So the game itself is very basic. Very basic, but the story behind it is fantastic. So yeah, you need to tell a story in games as well. So in these worlds, if you have a story or a world to live, people are gonna be there for a second and just gonna, yeah, that's it.
And you don't think AI can make stories, or like you don't think it can AI can do it as well as people? So.
No, you know what? Because it's so I think stories are universal, right? When I started writing my story or the story of my book, I'm just taking stuff that it already existed and already exists, elements of it. So inspiration, things that I have seen, that I have played, that I have the music, movies, people that I have interacted with, my own journeys, everything, and you put it together so that you can put them in a blender and there you go. But and an AI hasn't had that touch of the world, right? And interactions with people and conversations and I, for example, in dialogues, I try to put things that I have talked to, some like conversations with people or phrases, and that cannot be replaced by a machine. Yeah.
Do you think, you know how when you go into ChatGPT and you kind of have a conversation with it, do you think that's sort of like its version of getting its all, like the system is getting all this different input from all different people, that's sort of its own version of getting experience? So.
Yeah, it's that's why it's free, right? Because they're training it with this sort of casual or normal interactions with humans. But at the end of the day, it's just gonna fill a database, right? And and it's not going to replace like, oh, I remember if when I was 8 and I crashed in my bike, and that's not, those experiences are only a human can reproduce those sort of experiences and feelings, obviously, right? Like when you write, and I started to, as I mentioned before, I started writing a story that was like far away from me, and once I sort of embraced the storytelling and started to put things of me in it, it's how I sort of started to realize how would I feel in that situation. Like, for example, there is this scene where the characters are approaching this this city that is in or this port, and I was like, okay, a port. So sea breeze, wind, sunset, light. So you put that in it, right? But it's because I lived it.
Forgive
you
my.
don't-
Oh, sorry, you go.
No, you go.
I was just gonna ask. So, have you finished writing the book, or are you still writing it?
I'm still writing it.
Just
Yeah, I'm
double
like
check.
70%, yeah, done of the manuscript, and then I already know that I have to write a lot of the book, a lot. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I'm just trying to form a thought about it. So you don't think AI can ever reproduce the same effects that human stories give us? You don't think as much data as it creates, it won't be able to?
No, you can create stories. You can ask it right now, like, tell me a story of a king that lost his crown, and he will tell you the story.
But not as
But
moving.
but no, but it's not going to. It's not going to. Yeah, if there is a scene where I don't know where they are sitting on a park on a sunny day, and there's a breeze or the wind, that's not going to happen, because it will tell you the story, but it's not going to give you any personal that when you read a book and you go to those pages and you sort of feel what those characters are feeling. It's because the description was written by a human, and you can have that connection with that person, it creates a bridge with that person that wrote that book, which I think it's magical about a book or a yeah, especially books, because I was watching Dune last night.
Ooh.
I read the book. I actually finished the book in January, and I was I was watching the movie, and I remember there was some specific scenes that obviously are the most important scenes in the book and obviously in the movie, and obviously the movie it's very visual. The sounds, the soundtrack, everything is very visual. It obviously captivates you. But when I read the book, I was I was shocked, for example, how like vile and dark are the bad guys, the Harkonnens in the story. Whereas in the movie, obviously, you see them very dark, but it's not the same. It's not the same feeling, right? When I read, I was like, oh, these guys are, oh my god. Whereas in the movie, it's just a spectacular sort of bad guy. It's like Darth Vader. Whereas like if you read it, it causes different emotions. Yeah.
So then, do you think that either it's not just AI not being able to do that, but it's like only words can do that?
No, the words. I think when you as a human can imagine, it's like music. Music can cause you that thing. Like for example, when you hear a song, right, and you get transported automatically to a time and place, right? That's because you lived it. You lived it. And that's the magic of music as well. And you get so there's some type of music that can transport you to even ages or epochs that you didn't live through, right? So and that's the same with words, with written media, poetry as well. You can basically I don't write poetry, but I think, and obviously I'm just gonna talk about things that you might know better than I do, and Christina. But but yeah, I do think that poetry sort of puts you in a very intimate connection with the author, right? Because it's very intimate. Poetry, I think, it's very intimate. Um, Movies, well, yeah, I mean, but it's very visual. So, and humans, we are very visual, so it's a different sort of experience. So yeah, I think written words, music, um, yeah, that
Because
thing, yeah,
like it's more abstract, it leaves more up to your mind to actually create that
exactly,
bridge between.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Video games, yeah, it's another media, but but it's obviously visual as well, and you're interacting with it. So yeah, but words and music, it's are very powerful. Yeah, in that aspect of connection. Yeah.
After this awesome chat, it was a bit emotional, so I had to take a second to actually process it. So I kind of dropped out of the conversation for a minute, but then after that, once I recuperated myself, understanding his whole mind and his awesome world, I asked him about his book, because his book was a massive curiosity of mine, and I wanted to know what it was more than just the basic themes.
My book, it's a fantasy novel. I write fantasy because I think I've written fantasy my entire life, um, unknowingly. I've written stories about. So I'm a huge fan of JRPGs. My cat is named Zelda. Um, so I have written stories about like dungeons and dragons and warriors and archers and princesses and well, and creatures of the forest. When I started game design, I had to do an assignment to create like a concept of a game. So that's what I did. I wrote a concept of a RPG, and I sort of focused on the story. And my master's director back then, he said you should write stories, dude. You're good at it. And I was like, yeah, maybe. Um, so I have sort of written stories, and then when I decided to do something, we were talking before that at some point I said I was sitting in an office because when I graduated here, I studied a diploma in here as well, well, to be able to stay here. So when I graduated, I went to the industry. I work in a company doing like tech support, that sort of thing. It was okay money, 9 to 5. And it was like at some point I said, is that it? Like, this is it? Like I'm gonna spend the rest of my life like I mean I'm happy. I've been living with the woman that I love. I love this place. I love this country. Is this it? So I need to do something. With what? So it's been a whole process, or there was a long process of trying to decide what to do, because the first mistake that you do, or that I did, was I have to do something that gives me money. And so back then there was a lot of talks about NFTs, and people talk about NFTs and how people were becoming millionaires and selling those. And I was like, I can sell those things. If people can create some ugly looking apes, I can definitely, and sell them for millions of dollars, I can definitely create something cool and sell it. So on 2016, I went to a game jam, and during that game jam, I created some quirky characters. And I said, so I unshelved those characters because I said, okay, I can take these characters and sell them as NFTs. So that was the plan. And I talked to my friend that he was very into this NFT thing, and I said, hey, what do you think if I sell this and do this? And he says, yeah, you could, but well, look, there's heaps of those projects. You have to come up with like a universe for them. And I said, I can do that. So I started writing the whole like universe for these characters, And then once I was ready, I went back to my friend, and he talked to his friend that he's a game designer, and he's like, you have a great story, you should write a book. And I'm like, I'm not gonna write a book. I don't even want to write a book. I want to sell NFTs. And he said, no, write a book. This is a great story. And I said, nah. So that's the point. That was the point where I said, okay, I'm gonna create a video game, a card game, that and this and this and that. But I kept writing the story because obviously, as I wrote the initial concept, it kept expanding and expanding and expanding and expanding and expanding. And my mind works in a way that I need to find the reason. If there is an event today, I had to find the reason why that happened in the first place thousands of years before. So that's what I did. I started to write the whole, I did the whole world building. Of the lore, yeah. Because what happened is that when I started to write the book, I was okay. So, and he has the crystal. Where does the crystals come from? I went back and had to write the whole story of the crystals, and they were alchemists. Blah, 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 blah. And so yeah, so at some point it sort of became like the story, right, of the book. I outlined the story of the book, and the story of the book is just it's a fantasy novel. It's an adventure. It has a lot of, it's self-growth. It's coping with so you have this huge burden. You're the savior of the galaxy, basically, and obviously, and it's been dictated by the stars. So it's been prophesied. You're the and I'm telling the story in first person. So you're like, okay, so how does one become the savior, the hero? I don't even know if I'm able to do this huge burden, and on top of that, it's enshrouded in this mystery. It's like, okay, so tell me how to do that. Oh, you have to figure out by yourself. So it's about like, and at some point it's this power that he has. He understands that with this power he can also go to the sort of the dark side as well. So obviously universal stories, evil versus bad, it's all there. We have told ourselves those stories over and over and over again. But they're fun. We like those stories. And so it's self-growth. It's about finding people along the way that can help you carry that burden, that we can do it together, that we can grow together, that we can help each other as well in the path, in the journey. And there is about forgiveness as well. There is a lot of elements about things that I have seen, like in my country there's a lot of displacement, forced displacement because of violence and war and resources. Entire communities that have to be displaced. Has happened here in Australia as well. So there's that as well in the book. There's magical creatures that come with you along the way. Not in a Pokemon like oh, you fight. No, it's like we want to help. The creatures want to help to heal the planet because there's this dark energy in the planet. It's about learning to live in harmony with the planet, with the essence and the spirit of the planet. At the end, where it's all connected. It's the impact of someone causes a huge thing in the rest of the planet. So all those sort of ideas are like the messages of the book, and encapsulating a great adventure. It's a great adventure of going to underground temples, of freeing a flying sort of dragon from the evil spirits, meeting this manta ray that can fly, fighting this machine in the in on a inside a volcano. Yeah, so yeah, it's a great adventure with friends. Yeah, which is that's been also obviously a challenge because now we have I envisioned first two characters, obviously the main character, and a girl, and then there was another character that came along in the adventure, and then his brother tagged along as well. So four characters, which sort of makes sense for all the story, but it's been challenging to write for and not for, like when they are together. Now, in the moment they finally are together, and it's been because I had to like, okay, so he said that. Who is going to talk now? Who, based on their personalities? So that's costing me a lot. But yeah, getting through it. Yeah, one page at a time.
It's such like a perfect type of story, like, because it's so reflective of real life. Because like the whole time I was like matching it to like inspiring real lives. Because like you're the hero of the universe. Like we are
Yeah,
the
we are.
only thing in our lives that we can control. It's shrouded in mystery. Like there's no guarantee which path you can take.
There's no path. There's no guidance. There's no like, you are, but I don't know. Yeah,
And
you
then
just have
like
to discover it by yourself.
going to the dark side, like
Yes.
with that, yeah. Gosh.
Yeah, it's and it's interesting because when I started writing it, it was just this story of this guy that was meant to gather the crystals and save the world, and I was like, oh, that's cool. But once I sort of like when I had to write the bad guy, the antagonist, that was hard, and I had to meditate a lot because I had to put myself into that very dark spot, that very dark, like, why do you want to cause all this pain in the world? Why do you want to bring all this darkness? What are your motivations? So like putting myself into that spot was very hard, very, very difficult. It was very difficult. And obviously you have come up with these characters and you don't want anything bad to happen to them, and it's actually causing them this harm. So I didn't want to happen. I didn't that to happen, but yeah, it was very challenging. It was very challenging. Yeah.
Did you draw on anything from your life to build?
Yeah, I think I put some emotions, of when I did when I was growing up. I had, especially when I was in my teens, I had a lot of confrontations with my dad. Nothing physical, obviously, but it was we thought very different, and I would get into these rage phases of, because obviously he would say very hurtful things, and I sort of got transported to those moments and sort of trying to bring those emotions. So it was hard because obviously once I finished writing that part, I was like feel drained and feel like I had that sort of emotional state. So meditation. Yeah, that's another thing. Once I started meditating, changed my life. Absolutely, 100%.
I've been wanting to do it, so yeah, convince me.
Do it. Look, I start my morning like this. I meditate, gratitude meditation. That's 10 minutes. It takes 10 minutes of your in your morning. Just as soon as I wake up, meditation, gratitude. You start your day completely different. The day I don't do it, it's different. It feels completely different. Absolutely, I'm not. Yeah, it's not. It's not. I'm not lying to you. It's just different. Yeah, meditation. I go for a run, and then yeah, that's how I start my day. And yeah, you have to meditate definitely. You start with guided meditations. That's the best, easiest way. Start with guided meditations, and then what I did was I put some music, some very like those Tibetan bowls.
I love them.
And yeah, that sort of puts me in the mood. And something that I do, which has worked a lot for me, is I have found whenever I have meditated at some spots that have got me into that state, I think about how, like, I sort of connect to those moments, and that puts me immediately in the state, in the right state. So, for example, when I was in Bali, we went to this waterfall, and Valeria was tired, so she was like, "Oh no, if you want to go to the second one, you can go." Okay. So I went by myself, and I was completely there by myself. There was no one else, no one else. And I sat down in this rock and I meditated there. It was awesome. So whenever I by myself and I was struggling to get into the state, I sort of connect to that moment, and that's it.
Okay, this is the engaging moment that I spoke about at the start of the episode. After all this talk about meditation, I did actually go and start meditating myself, and I've found a lot of success with it. And Felipe mentioned that there's not massive strides that you can make a lot of the time with meditation, but I've found that every time I do, I have made massive progress. And maybe that's just because I'm a beginner at it, but the amount that I've gained from meditating is awesome. So I'm going to play what Felipe actually just mentioned, a Tibetan singing bowl, and I just want you to focus on the sound, visualize the sound, and let whatever comes to your mind just come in, and then let it leave. Don't try and draw any meaning from it, don't try and process it, just let your mind flow. If you're in the right environment to do it, close your eyes, but if you're driving, Tem and Sai, don't close your eyes, whichever one of you is driving. Just take a moment, be still, and I'll be back after. How was that? It wasn't a typical meditation, but it is just a moment of mindfulness, and I think even these throughout your day, if you can prompt yourself, just to return yourself back to that middle ground, where if you're feeling overly emotional, either up or down, just being grateful and trying to avoid some of those negative emotions that control us when they don't actually have to.
I think you need it, because the thing about meditation is that we live in this physical world, obviously, and we get distracted by people, by our everyday routines, everyday lives, by like the physical world. We get distracted, so we're obviously living in the physical world, but we are not actually. The physical world is just like a, let's call it like a hologram, a manifestation, or your manifestation of the world, right? But it's not actually the real deal. The real deal is inside you. So if you meditate, you do that sort of inner process of connecting with yourself. Um, it's like saying, all right, here we are. It's all good. Um, we're gonna start the day. Gratitude, my wife, my cat, my family, my health, blah 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 blah. And let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah. So you need that. I think we all need that. Yeah. 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 If I spend more than 3-4 days without meditating, I get cranky. Yeah.
What like other types of it can you do? Like, because you said there was the gratitude meditation
Yeah.
in the morning.
Oh,
and
you can
then-
do gratitude. You can do manifestation as well. So you can start like, oh, today, or you can envision sort of your day ahead. Like today, for example, I say, okay, I'm gonna go do my class. I'm gonna teach this. I'm gonna talk to these people. But like, it's not like planning your day. It's just like visualizing yourself doing all these things, and it works. Yeah, it sort of works. Yeah.
You've inspired me.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it has worked for me. Yeah, it has worked for me. Yeah. Yeah. But you have to be in the mindset as well. It's not only about like, oh, I'm gonna do this. No, you have to believe it. That it's gonna happen. It's a fact that it's gonna happen like that way. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, conviction.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. 100%. Yeah. Yeah.
I have a place that I go to when I haven't called it meditating, but just when I'm like, when I'm trying to just shut down all the noise in my head. And it's hard to. You've been to the sunny coast? Have
Yeah.
you been to Mooloolaba?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a section from Mooloolaba,
Yeah.
but it's at sunset, and the sunset is like really vibrant, and I've added like a lot of things to it. But I just go there and I just sit and look out at the ocean, and that puts me into that setting, and
Perfect. The
Yeah.
sound, the waves. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it's kind of like your waterfall.
Exactly.
meditation.
Yeah, you need to find like something that connects you to that state. Yeah, a waterfall, the sound wave, the ocean waves. Yeah.
That's so cool. I like it. Okay.
Is there any ways that you bring, like, because you said that it's pretty recent that you've kind of got into spirituality? How?
Like full on, like a year and a half.
Yeah.
But the whole thing started like probably 2-3 years ago. Like it was gradual because I started reading all these books, and yeah, so it's been like a journey of discovery, learning, reading. Yeah, and the whole once you start meditating. Because I think there are two, well, I have experienced two types of meditation. One is where you are very aware of like gratitude, you are grateful, or you're manifesting, or you're visualizing. That in that case you are very, let's call it, in control, right? And there is another type of meditation that I've done, but in that case, when I have been into those states, it's being guided meditations only, and you start feeling, like for example, I have felt my chakras, right? That one is called chakra activation meditation. So you feel actually the points of energy. There's one called third eye opening. You actually feel energy coming here. You feel it. You feel it here, vibration. Like it's so cool. There's another one. There's a lot of guided meditations that put you in that other sort of state, which you actually. There's one that I did that has. It's to handle your financial blockages. It's called. And you imagine yourself going into a cave, and you start like removing like like rocks and branches and everything that it's avoiding you to get to the inside the cave or inside a portal, whatever you sort of. I don't know why I pictured it as a cave. So it's you're in this state where you're actually feel like it's like a dream state. If you that's the best way that I could describe it. Like you are in a dream, but you're actually sort of navigating through the dream, and you sort of remember everything. And the good thing about those guided meditations is that, or at least in my case, is that you actually, once you get back to reality, you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, like yeah.
Like a lucid dream.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and it works. Like I used to have this relationship with money that I was, obviously not over concerned about money, but I was like, oh, okay, so I have this amount of money, I need this. Nowadays, couldn't care less, man. I couldn't. It's not that I'm not obviously responsible, but I have found out that the less I have about money, the more happy I am. It's as simple as that, and it's just gonna come anyways. It will come anyways. It has, yeah, it comes. Yeah. Obviously, I'm not gonna go to the casino and then put it all in there. No, that's not gonna happen. But yeah, it's just gonna come. Yeah.
Wait, I had something. What were we just talking about? Oh no, okay, yeah, the dreaming. Yeah, okay, all right. This might be a bit of a taboo subject, but psychedelics and other related drugs. Have you ever done or have you read about them?
I want to. I really want to. I have never done any psychedelics like LSD or mushroom, but I really want to. I think now I'm in a state that I will definitely. Actually, last night I was watching on Netflix. It's called Have a Good Trip. No, Have a Good Trip.
I think
Yeah,
there's a few
yeah.
on there, but I
Yeah,
haven't
I was watching that. I was like, I wouldn't mind doing it. Yeah. Now I think nowadays I will be like, okay, cool. I can definitely handle it, and I think I will learn a lot from it. And yeah, that's no experience with. I've done other drugs, but not psychedelics. Yeah.
You should also watch How to Change Your Mind.
I've watched it with this
you have?
with the
Yeah.
doctor.
Yeah,
with this-
yeah.
yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
like
He
explores the
does
different
the MDMA. Is it MDMA mushrooms? MDMA.
He does psilocybin is mushrooms,
psilocybin.
Yeah, he does LSD, psilocybin, and then MD, I think.
Yeah, I watched it.
Was that
yeah,
good?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I watched on YouTube. There is this guy that he blogs. Yeah, we'll call it a blog about his experience with we could say that it's DMT in Peru in an actual like an actual how do you call it in English? It's like well, let's call it like an indigenous sort of setting, right? Where you're meant to do that, because supposedly if you do it like in the city or it's not going to be the same way. So, anyways, the guy goes to Peru and he prepares for it for like a week with the shaman. He's like, okay, we're gonna do this in preparation. So through the week, he sort of tells him what's gonna happen. The guy's scared as shit. He's like, no, I don't want to. He's like, no, you're prepared, do it. And he does it, and you can actually see what's going on, obviously. But and he comes back and he says, he's crying. He's like, okay, all right, I understand everything now. And I was like, oh, that's very cool. I mean, obviously very scary, but at the same time, it's going back to source basically. And feel and realize that you don't have to be afraid of death. For example, we have been indoctrinated that death is the end. Well, it's not the end. It's just the beginning of another cycle, right? So yeah, that and also well, when you grow up overly or concerned about like your relatives and loved ones are going to pass away someday. Oh no, what's going to happen? And that's going to be so sad now because they're there, they're in spirit, right? And at the end, we're going to be together. I mean, we're all together at some point. So yeah, so it will be great to have that experience of understanding in that situation or that understanding. Yeah, but yeah, so I've been meaning to do some things, but I don't know. It's gonna happen at some point, I guess. Yeah.
You said you liked episode 5 of the podcast with Christina.
Yeah, I watch. I watch. I listen to 5 and 6. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know the like start part of 5, how it was like the phone call.
Mhm.
It was the egg theory. I had a mushroom trip that was. I liked it a lot, way
Yeah,
too
yeah,
many,
yeah, yeah.
and it was identical to that.
Really?
And it was like it blew my mind because like my friends just discovered the podcast,
Yeah.
and they listened to it without any context, and they
Yeah.
instantly said, "Tate, this was your mushroom trip. Oh my god, it's just identical." And yeah, it was like mind blowing. Everything just made sense when I like figured out
Yeah.
the meaning behind everything.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it was so cool. Like I tried to like a couple times,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, it was sick. So you should definitely try them.
Yeah, I will definitely try. Yeah, I remember I was driving and I was listening to that intro and I was like, oh, this is fantastic because this is what I have been feeling, understanding for the last months. And I'm like, okay, these people know things.
It really was.
No, because look, honestly, I try to be very cautious of like talking about this sort of stuff with people because usually, or not usually, but some people will be like, "What the heck are you talking about? Like, what the fuck?" Yeah. So so yeah, it's not with like I have this very good friend, and we used to talk like we used to like to get together every Thursday to play FIFA. And so we were playing FIFA, these very generic sort of Thursday nights, and we were talking like he was like, so what about time? Do you think time is a human thing? And I was like, and we were like, yeah, so time, blah blah. And we were starting to talk about these very 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 deep topics without a drop of alcohol, without anything. We're just playing video games. And yeah, so he was one of the person that I could talk about these things, and he just went back to Colombia. So I miss the guy.
I love
Yeah.
that.
No, that's the thing. That's the sad part of being an expat is that a lot of people that you know from your country, they eventually move back or go back to or go to other city, other country, and yeah, a lot of friends have moved. Yeah, but it is what it is.
Where else, like, because I have a friend like that and it's just the best.
Yeah.
But where else do you like get all your revelations and ideas? Because like I get mine in the shower. Like,
Oh, let's see. Well, through meditation, I have come with a lot of a lot of realizations and a lot of things that I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense now. I have become very like an like um, I have developed this. I don't know I don't know if it's a skill or I like to observe more now, and and um, and through observation, you get to see what's because you get to see what's really on the under the layer of we have many layers of the world, and you get to see what's under the surface. Um, and how like what's under the surface of what happens with society and how yeah, and so through observation of I don't know, it's because like when I think about society I could become very dark, so yeah, I just don't like our current modern society. Just no. Obviously we there's a lot of good people, but there's a lot of greed and ambition, like bad ambition, and yeah. So yeah. Yeah, modern society. So, because I look, something that I tell Valeria is like we are living in an age where I think we have more slaves now that we used to have back when slavery was a thing. And all the people sadly are producing all the shit that we buy online that we don't need. And that's just to get a bunch of people very rich at the other side of the world. And that's sort of my vision of what's like the one of the layers of the world, and from that point on it's dark. So yeah, I try to be in the positive side of it. Yeah.
manage it? Like how you do see and view society, like it's not great. How do you go about your day to day, knowing, having that understanding?
Look, I think we all can be that factor of change in the world. You can, it's the small things. You can smile at the cashier, right, and make her day. That's it. You can say hello, how are you, to a person in the gas station, the petrol station, and make her day, make his day. It's those little things. I think, yeah, like I try to think about the good things that I'm doing. Most of my students are international students, like just like as I was, and so they come mostly from the Philippines, and they study the 2 years very hard work because we put them to work hard. The reason is because then they will join companies, do engineering, and we want those companies to come back to hire more students. And I see these kids that arrives here and they are very shy, very, they don't have that self-esteem of, or they actually don't believe they are going um, to uh, to make it until the end, which they do, and they become supervisors, they become managers, and they bring their families. They bring their cousins that they become my students then, or their brothers, their sisters, and I think that's great. I think that's one of the biggest satisfactions of my life. It's having that impact on those students. So yeah, so that's my way to cope with it, and obviously love. I mean, love. It's we come to this world to experience love. That's it. It's a love for another human being. It's a love for animals, love for the planet, love for the tree, love for everything. That's it. So, and I think love, it's on top of all the shit and all the darkness underneath. Yeah. And I agree with my sister-in-law, Valeria's sister. She is very spiritual as well. She came in December. We haven't met before she came, and she's in another level, and she was like, and I said, look, do you think we are, because we were talking about this, and she's like, yeah, totally, yeah, slaves, blah 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 blah. She's like, but I think we are, as collective, we are going in a different direction, in a more sort of yeah, I think we are, not, probably not in our generation, but probably in the future, I think we are going to be better with each other. I think that's gonna happen. Yeah. The fact that we are here sitting, people are gonna hear this or listen to this at some point and gonna say, oh yeah, that makes sense. That's a good message. That's at some point someone's gonna read my book and say, okay, yeah, it's bad to displace people, right? Yeah, violence, and yeah, it's that. Yeah,
Law of
I think.
averages,
Yeah.
eventually.
So yeah, I think I try to be. I used to be very negative, but I think now I see the world different. I think it's changing. It's gradually, slowly. We're getting there.
What do you? What's something like we could do to push that? Not like we, like we.
The collective.
The collective.
No,
No.
not
Oh, not
like
the collective we.
no, not like the full collective.
Yeah.
Like the enlightened, like the ones who are
okay.
already in on it. Like
Yeah.
It's on it.
Well, I think the first step is to just to be nice to each other. when I tell Valeria all the time, like, oh, I love everyone. No, honestly, I don't feel envy about like or jealous of like, oh, if you do good, oh, why? No, I'm happy for you. Uh, yeah, just and collaborate and cheer each other and just yeah, just I think that's the because look, you could be all the enlightened, all the I don't know, all the spiritual that you, but you could be also very shitty to other people. And yeah, I mean, you have to be. There should be like you have to be yeah like if you think about or you're think about like the greater good, right? Well, do good as well in your everyday. Yeah, I think that will be the first step. Take care of nature and yeah, and I think yeah, be in harmony with the world. I mean, with the yeah, not try to yeah. That's I think that would be the best way. And then once you do that, I mean, you can create something that it's meaningful to, or that can connect with other people, like a podcast, like a song, like poetry, like writing a book or writing I don't know, give out your message to the world. I'm trying to do that. It's hard because obviously you don't want to expose yourself, but it's amazing how there's a lot of people that think that think like you. It's amazing. So yeah.
Because, yeah, I thought I was quite alone on this.
Mm-hmm.
Because after coming out of my depression, I dove into all of this.
Yeah.
And I just thought, wow, no one around me understands this. And then I started this, and I've already found you, Christina, Bella, like, instantly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, like, it wasn't even hard. It was like, yeah, I manifested it, and it just appeared. So you do find your people.
Do you find your people? Yeah.
Yeah.
You find your tribe. Yeah.
So that is the end of our chat with Felipe for this moment. I had an absolutely amazing time with him. Bella and I walked away from this conversation mind blown. We were so happy. We couldn't have wished for more. Felipe's an awesome guy and an awesome author. If you want to check out his stuff, obviously, it's all below in the show notes. With every single guest, all of their stuff will be down in the show notes. So if you ever do find interest in them, just scroll down a little bit and have a look at all his stuff. I've got his fantasy book down there, as well as his blog, and also his Instagram. So go check him out. I think his messages are one of the best I've heard. Just about loving, forgiving, and realizing that you can be the change in the world that you want to see. Even when you can't control your own thoughts, there is always a way, and you can, if you have to, manipulate them and brute force them into becoming what you really want to be. Because sometimes some things do get ahead of us and it isn't exactly ideal. With the amount of negative shit that the media and social media in particular exposes us to in this day and age, it's hard to really visualize the change that we want to happen in the world and how it will ever come to be. But he does really inspire me and make me realize that even though I'm one person, I can just be that change. And that inevitably creates a butterfly effect. And that's what I'm trying to do with the podcast. So, if you did appreciate this episode, if you did appreciate the amazing insights from Felipe, please share the episode with your loved ones, anyone that you think needs to hear this. Maybe if they're into fantasy, or if you want to get someone into meditation. Please send them the link. Next week on MetaLife, I chat to an awesome guy in early education who's making a massive difference to the first 5 years of the future. It's pretty well concreted in psychology now that the first 5 years of life are the most important. And this guy is making huge change by inspiring and connecting with younger kids at the most important years of their life. Him and I have a bit of an emotional moment, and our stories do align very well. So we do connect about a lot of things, and it's a really awesome episode. I got quite emotional. I had to take a step back for a while just because of how much it made me feel. So please tune in for that one. I'll see you next week. Thank you so much for being here. I love you, you are loved. And this week, I want you to think of your favourite farm animal. Let me know below. I love you.